The Great Migration by Alexander Olivier and Michael Pinter. First, what is the Great Migration? It was a movement of over 6 million African Americans out of the rural South and into cities in the North, Midwest, and West. This shift, which happened between 1916 and 1970, wasn't just about changing location, it was about changing lives. The Great Migration was the result of deep economic struggles, racism, and a lack of opportunity, but it was also about hope for jobs, education, and freedom. As we look at why this happened, we'll focus on what pushed people to leave and what pulled them to start over somewhere new.
The Civil War would take place in the later half of the 19th century. The 4-year-long struggle would end the plight of African Americans. However, this would not be the end of their struggle. Jim Crow laws and many other laws in the South led to the disenfranchisement of African Americans. This resulted in the Great Migration, a time between 1916 and 1970 when over 6 million African Americans left the South and moved to northern cities, the Midwest, and the West Coast. Life in the South was harsh. Most African Americans worked low-paying jobs such as farming and sharecropping. These jobs were exhausting and barely paid enough to survive. On top of that, the Southern economy was struggling. Cotton prices were dropping, and insects such as the boll weevil were destroying crops. There weren't many chances to earn a living, especially for African Americans. Even worse, African Americans were faced with constant racism and segregation. Jim Crow laws kept black people separated from white people. Places such as schools, buses, bathrooms, and many more were segregated. Violence and fear were also a part of daily life. Many African Americans faced the constant threat of being harassed by lynch mobs and being lynched for crimes they didn't commit. All these struggles pushed African Americans to leave the South to find something better.
While the South was pushing people out, the North and the West were pulling them in. Cities like Chicago and Detroit needed workers, with industries going fast. Especially during wartime, they offered jobs that paid more than anything in the South. Factories were hiring, and the jobs paid more than farm work. Cities needed workers, especially during World War I and the Great Depression. When white workers went off to war, factories turned to black workers to fill the gaps. Even during the Great Depression, northern jobs, while not easy, still gave people a chance to survive and support their families. Families believed that they could give their children a brighter future. In northern cities, there was hope for a better life, with better schools, better homes, and more freedom. Parents moved to the north, not just for their jobs, but for their kids, hoping they could grow up safer, freer, and with more chances than they ever had. And though racism still existed in the North, many found it easier to escape the worst parts of Southern life. Discrimination didn't go away, but it wasn't enforced by law like it was in the South. That difference gave people room to build a new life. The Great Migration didn't just end in 1970. Today, millions of all races still move across the country for many of the same reasons. Some leave small towns for big cities to find jobs, others move to escape high costs of living or to find safer communities. People are still being pushed by hard situations and pulled by hope and opportunity. The faces and places may be different, but the story stays the same. People chasing a better life for themselves and their families. Thank you for watching.